Here you are, Pisces. The stream emptying into the sea leading to the ocean. Welcome to the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. Welcome to the start of a new 168-year cycle. Abundance, love, sunshine, and acceptance, and growth above all things. If you look out into the water, you'll see that the tide is coming against the stream, and yet the stream flows seamlessly into that tide and becomes the sea. It doesn't mean that there won't be opposition. It doesn't mean that everything is a straight path. No, to be sure, it's a winding road. And the tide will come against you from time to time. But look and watch as you, mutable water, navigate this so well. Look how you pour yourself in to the abundance. Look what happens when you realize that abundance is not something you attract, but something that you are. The silver sky, the sunlight more like jewels than rays, the sound of life, living, breathing. As the tide comes in and out, you become now the avatar for abundance. You are life. If there are any debts in your life, pay them off. The money is coming. The flow, inshallah, won't stop. If you have any emotional debts, pay them off. Say you're sorry. Walk away. Mend the wounds. Pay the debts. Reconcile with those you love and can't forget about. And when you're done with all that, take that final step to reconcile with yourself and walk into this new cycle, this new life that you will not outlive. But your energy will remain here in this tide, in this water. Walk out clean. Dive into this clean. You can see there are rocks, there are wines in the path. But somehow the way was made in your home. Don't think about the path anymore. Don't think about the rocks left behind. It doesn't matter. All that matters now is this ebb and flow, this glittering life in front of you. This endless horizon of possibility. That's all you need to think about, all you need to focus on. Everything else has become irrelevant. For you. And you knew this was coming. You knew it in your bones. You've been preparing for so long, but especially this past year. I didn't know it was going to be like this. Yes, you did. I didn't know it would be this beautiful. It's only going to get more beautiful. I didn't know the opportunities would start rolling in right away. They're not going to stop. Inshallah, now your only job is to manifest out of the kindness and purity of your heart. Create, live, dance, eat. Love. become a part of this continuum. It's who you are. You've just been inducted. I love you. Let's look at these cards. Hi Pisces. Welcome to the second part of your reading. The first part has been on Patreon for a minute. I apologize that I did not upload it here yet. I think that's one of the beauties of Patreon, is that it kind of allows me to have a little more leeway and perhaps, dare I say, kindness with myself, because I can give you the reading in parts as they make sense to me, or as I'm physically able to do it and not bring my tiredness into it. So if you've already seen part 1, then you know that April 12th was a huge, huge day, and it starts a huge cycle. The Six of Swords here is you moving away from, let's call it, for lack of a better term, realism. There's nothing to be realistic about anymore. That thing we live in, this watery world that we live in, excuse me while I get some water. This watery world that we live in has changed. Jupiter and Neptune in conjunction in your sign. The power of manifestation seen through a Pisces lens, manifested through a Pisces lens. So what is that? It's fantasy level fulfillment. Pisceans do it better than everybody, whatever the it may be, because you do it at fantasy level. Any truly elevated piece of art has taken something that's seemingly normal, and through the power of creativity, fantasy, tapping into that 12th house realm that you come from, turns it into something otherworldly. Suddenly a shaft of light in a dark hallway speaks of mystery, perhaps hundreds of years of mystery, right? A woman's scarf blowing in the winds tells the story of a romance better than any words could. Like, it's things like this. There is an elevation to poetic levels in the Piscean nature. You take things, and all things can in some way be mundane. You take the mundane and you make it into something sacred and profound, and you do it not with pomp, not with haughty or snobby. You know, there are other people who are able to refine things greatly, but the ego that comes with it, the haughtiness, this sense of superiority, oh, look what I can do, you can't do what I can do. The beauty of the way that Pisceans live their lives and make art of their lives and make art in general is that they never have to scream and shout, look what I did, you can't do what I do. No, with Pisces, we're looking at you and we're thinking that in our own heads. Okay? You never have to say to us, look, I did something that you could never even imagine how to do. No, you just look at us and smile. And we're thinking, I could never do that. Now, do I know why I could never do it? Well, that's the rub. I don't even know why I could never do it. I'm just aware that you have access to something we don't have access to until now. This conjunction has in many ways leveled the playing field, which doesn't really matter to you because you're the open ocean, you're the deep, you're the moving water, you're the typhoons and the hurricanes. You don't care, there's no competition. What I mean by level the playing field is that some other people will now get to experience what is the constant connective flow of your life. We're beginning to wake up and have experiences where we're taking the normal and turning it into the divine through faith and faith in self, faith in divinity, faith in the universe, faith in other people, right? That's one of the things people always leave out when they criticize you about your vulnerability. They also leave out how much faith you have to put in other people, how strong you have to be to trust that much to even be vulnerable with people. How strong do you have to be inside? How steady inside? Yeah, externally it's up and down, it's Pisces, it's two fish going yeah, I get it, in opposite directions. But how rock solid do you have to be inside to on the surface be so open and vulnerable that people can deeply interact with you with no fear? People are always saying that Pisces are blunt. Pisces are just honest. They're honest in a way that everyone wants to be honest. But you're so open, you can't filter it. It's not meant to be blunt. You're not trying to be blunt. You're just completely open. So things are just being said. You know, you learn through experience that people tell you sometimes, oh, you're very blunt, or like you're very direct, you get to the point, whatever. And you like pick it up, you're like, yeah, I guess I am like that. But you're not doing it because you have this like Aryan obsession with just being right and hitting the nail on the head. And you see me doing it with my Aries placements all the time. I told you, see, I fucking told you. Like, you don't have that. You don't have that. Now is the time for you to relish the fact that other people are beginning to experience what you've experienced most of your life. Now, what do you do with it? You can connect, as this Sagittarian card implies, and you can connect with compassion with those who perhaps have hurt you. Perhaps people who you need their forgiveness. Perhaps people that require a level of vulnerability from you that's past what you are used to giving. Yes, Pisces is vulnerable. It is so true. But we both know you're not as vulnerable as a Cancer, right? I mean, a Cancer will let you kill them if you tell them you love them. Like, you've got a rock solid survival instinct. No one's getting anything past you. You know that. Your vulnerability, absolutely. What did I say? I said vulnerability on the surface. Your vulnerability absolutely has a limit. It's one of the things, to be perfectly honest, I enjoy the most about you. I love watching people dive deep and do the bullshit and be messy. I love watching them keep diving deep, thinking that it's just open, deep ocean, not realizing that they are going at very high speeds towards a rock solid cliff. People really, how they say here, take the piss with you guys. They really do. They really try to fuck you over. They think you have no stop or limit. I'm telling you, they think you're Cancers at first. They think as long as they tell you and make you feel a certain way, that there is no depth too deep to take from you.
and they go real fast. They pick up speed, you know? You let them get away with a little, you give a little, you give a little more, you give it, you almost like do it. Like, this is what I like about Pisces also. Like, there's a little bit of a sinister thing to you. Like, you kind of trap people like this. When you feel like someone's really taking advantage of you, it makes you angry in a quiet way that makes you like really plot on them a little bit. Like, okay, all right, I see what you're doing. And I also see that you think that I don't know. So you're taking advantage of someone that you think has no idea what's going on. You're taking advantage of someone that you think is completely innocent. Okay, all right, I'm going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. And I love when Pisces play this game because people take their rope, they dive, they take, and then they pick up speed. Oh, because this bitch isn't paying attention at all. She's just letting me do whatever I want. And then all of a sudden, when they're going at real high speeds, oh, they're comfortable. Cruising. Boom. Rock solid. Limestone cliff. Electrified. You're dead. Like, it's so sudden and it's so real. Pisces are like the definition. If there's a likeness between you and Aries, and of course there are many likenesses, that's it. If it's you or me, it's me. We're not doing this. If it's you or me, then it's me. Then you should run. You are in danger. Don't play this game with a Pisces. Oh my God. That's a Virgo with feelings. Do you know how dangerous that is? That a Pisces is someone smart as a Virgo and emotionally smart as the smartest water sign. Like, just think it through. Like, it's like the smartest sign and then the smartest water sign. So intelligence, emotional intelligence. That's the nature of a Pisces. So of course you're sitting there and just watching people hit that cliff at high speeds over and over again. The difference now with this conjunction is that some of those people you can go back to because you've been carrying it around and feeling bad. As I'm talking, you're having that imagery of certain people hitting that cliff and you're like, oh, okay, maybe that person, maybe the cliff grew a little bit to meet them. Right? Now think about this. There's going to come a time during this 168-year cycle where you might even begin to think that you don't need that cliff. Oh, but wait a minute, you just said that's what you love most about us is that we're vulnerable, we're not stupid. Yeah, I did say that. That's that cliff, that's the Virgo. That's the earth. Unforgiving. Right? But what if you evolve past it? What if you get to a point where the reason you don't need a rock solid center is because you just don't let people take more than they should? There's literally a baby running around in the hallway laughing. Like, exactly, bro. Exactly. And he's having like the time of his life. Exactly. See the little baby? And she's pregnant. So, Pisces, if you're thinking about babies and you're with someone that you don't want to have a baby with, you know, maybe, you know, go out more. How do I say it? I don't know how to say it. Bitch, you know what I mean. Just, you know. Right, exactly. Thank you very much, Rider-Waite Tarot. Thank you so much. Exactly. Just do you. Do you. And if you contribute a little bit, okay, now I'm talking to the ones of you that have partners. If you want it to work, Can you please, please, please make a little bit of a romantic effort and not just a sexual effort? I know. Just process it. Listen, I know it's cool that you guys know all the things because you have all the feels and the sex is immaculate. I get it. And I know we're talking about things that usually we don't talk about, and I'm sorry for that. I'm as uncomfortable as you are. You hear this, baby? Okay. The thing is, someone has to have the talk. This conjunction is evolving us all. And after all the nice things I've said about you, I'm sure you're pretty aware that there's not a lot of evolution left to do when you get all the way to the 12th house. You're pretty much ready for whatever comes next. But this is a really hard lesson to learn because it's so primal, and it's also really hard to be sober about a thing that's so easy and natural for you. It's hard to be measured and deliberate about a thing that just flows out of you. But I think, especially if you are with someone right now, I think it's really important to understand that you, although have been contributing sexually as always, emotionally, perhaps you've been a bit lazy, romance-wise. And that's what I mean by it emotionally. I don't mean getting in their business and whatever. I know you're doing that. I know you're doing that. I'm talking about, you know, the way you beautify your own life and you beautify your appearance, and there's a certain, when you walk into a Pisces home, there's such an overabundance of beauty. There's this beautiful energy about a Pisces home. So for the most part, from what I know, the women. The men can be a little like severe in their taste, as far as I've seen. But, and even in your creativity, the colors you choose, there is a sort of softness that really like belies, like there's a hardness underneath that's like super impactful, but it's like the softness at first that gets you before you realize, like, oh yeah, the walls are powder pink, but they're made of concrete. You know what I mean? It's this kind, again, coming back to this like hard and soft thing. But have you ever thought that maybe that desire to beautify and that ability, that innate ability to make things more poetic, have you ever thought to apply that to your love life and to your partner? Because I think they're kind of missing it. I think you've gotten used to being the one that's romanced because you're beautiful and you're wonderful and you deserve all that. But there is a point at which if you don't reciprocate, not in some other way, but if you don't reciprocate in that way, it starts to feel like you're just taking and the other person feels used. Sorry, this is so shaky. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not that you're using them. And I can tell, like, okay, well, if you're thinking that, well, it's not like I'm using them and they don't have to do all those things. But that's the thing, they want to do all those things. They want to do all those things, and they probably wish that you wanted to do them too. Oh, well, I do want to do them. Okay, then do them. Make things romantic for your partner, especially if it's someone that you feel has been estranged, or you guys are coming back from not trusting each other, or whatever it is. Maybe it's an opportunity to make things easier. By contributing in a different way, not more, cut back on the sexuality a little, is what I would advise. Maybe there are better ways to do it, but that sexuality versus romance question is definitely up there for you when it comes to things you will be tackling, now throughout your life. Because this conjunction is about leveling up this simulation, this water simulation that we live in, of which you guys are, the behind the scenes programmers. You're the programmers, that's why you know all the cheat codes, program codes. You can get in all the back doors because, you're the water people. We're in a water simulation, and we've just had this enormous conjunction or download or, gateway into a new, whatever you want to call it, in a water sign with the water planet and the planet that, breaks down the doors and busts open everything and says, here's more. It's a huge thing that we're going through. To be perfectly honest, I don't think I've had the wherewithal or the stamina to put it into words until now. It's just been a huge transit, and I feel it on every level of my life. On every level, the awareness I have of myself in some cases is truly shocking. Things that I never, ever realized about myself just are glaringly obvious. And it's shocking. So for you, this particular issue, until you can wrangle with it and be open to having a dialogue, even with just yourself about it, it will be an issue in your relationships. If you connect too much through sex, it starts to feel like a disconnect. The connection gained through sex only feels like a connection because of all the other stuff that happens. On its own, it can easily make you feel more and more disconnected, even if it's with the same person, because it's being done with no feeling, no feeling, no feeling, no feeling. And then that's the feeling your body gets attached to or associates with that act, because you're doing that with no feeling. You have to add that emotional, trusting, soft, vulnerable, no cliff approaching energy. You have to let that out. The conjunction is going to be eking it out of you anyway, so you may as well. As far as finances and work, any projects or money that didn't work out, don't worry about it. You got like approximately, I'd say like 3 to 4 more weeks of it. And then that world energy steps in. Your astrology backs it up. Money gets easy, inshallah. Let's talk about that. This is pretty obvious, and we'll go into it in the extended. Let's talk about that. If there's a debt, it's so important to pay it. If you need to rebuild something, stop trying to half repair. Stop trying to fix a little thing here and fix a little thing there. You know you're slowly fixing it all and remaking it all again. It's not the right way to just tear it down and start again. Whatever this applies to for you, just tear it down and start again. If you take control of it, means through your agency, through your will, that you tear it down, it'll be much easier to swallow anyway. You know, the tower is a big part of rebirth. The tower is the beginning of the journey. Isn't it? The Tower is the beginning, and the Fool is the end. The thing about the Tower also that you have to remember, there's nobody aside from you who's gonna save you. And if you do this, nobody gets helped, nobody gets saved. If you're waiting here, as this woman is, she is not bound. She could get up and walk away whenever she wants. She could rip that blindfold. She is purposefully blind. Nobody is coming to save her. And no matter how much pain, no matter how much upheaval, she has to save herself. That's a big part of your astrology, is taking a break and giving yourself these things. Good? Love you. I'll see you in the extended.